Welcome to this course on product design and value engineering. In today's session, we are going to discuss design for environment. In this session, we will see that how product will affect the environment and what factors should be considered why we are designing the product so that it affects minimal and it do not contribute in damaging the environment. First of all, let us see what environmental impacts of different products will be. We know that global warming is today's major issue. The Everyone is talking about global warming, air pollution, and ozone layer depletion. This global warming is major issue because nearly all the product during its manufacturing stage will emit carbon dioxide, and as we know that carbon dioxide is a major component which results in the effect of global warming. The another impact is resource depletion. What do we mean by that is that we have limited resources for any material. If we talk about iron, we have limited iron ore in the earth and it will be reducing. But we have a large amount of iron, so we are not worried about that we will run out of iron. But on the other hand, if we talk about coal or if we talk about petroleum, then we are running out of it, and we know that uh, at some point of time the resource of petroleum that is available in the earth will be finished. So we also want to make sure that we are using minimum resources, and we are generating so many solid waste products. We are generating so much amount of solid waste that we do not know what to do with it, and mainly the plastic waste, because plastic waste is not biodegradable. We cannot degrade the plastic waste. We have to simply store it somewhere where it will be there for years and years. So this is also one of the major issues. Also, air pollution, we talked about it, water pollution and land degradation or land pollution. All these will be considered while we are designing product, and if we do not consider it, we know that we cannot achieve sustainable development. And sustainable development is a term which you might have heard recently. And sustainable development is the only way forward if we wish to see future on earth for another 100, 200, 500 and 1000 years. If we do not move towards sustainable development, then the amount of resources we have are limited. Also, we are polluting our environment very badly at the moment. So it will create disastrous effect if we do not think about these issues at the moment. So what can we do to reduce this while developing product? We have to make some fundamental changes in our design thinking to address these issues, to somehow help reduce all these solid waste and all these pollutions, and we make sure that our resources are utilized as much as possible. How can we do that? That we'll see in a due amount of time. Okay. First of all, let us understand these two life cycles. One, there will be industrial life cycle. When there is production, there is distribution, we use it, we recover some materials, and then we throw it away. And mostly till now, companies were only considering these factors only, because 50 or 100 years ago, the environment was not so polluted. Environment was clean at the time. There were enough forest so that all the carbon dioxide produced by us will be recovered from that forest oxygen. But now the problem is that we are destroying forest and we are polluting the earth more and more. So what we can do is we have considered another life cycle for the product, that is natural biological life cycle. And we are thinking about, okay, while we are recovering the product, there will be some organic deposits, there will be some toxic byproducts which will be released in the environment, and if there is that the case, then we should try to avoid it. There will be some inorganic byproducts and we should avoid it. Then there will be natural decays and they will be transformed in resources. If those are renewable resources, then it is okay. But if those are non-renewable resources, then we should try to avoid it as much as possible. Also, in the industrial life cycle, what we can do is after using, we should try to reuse it. The first is trying to reuse it. If reuse is not possible, then what we are doing, we are trying to remanufacture it so that it goes back directly into production cycle. And even if remanufacturing it not is not possible, then we are thinking about recycling. And recycling is also post consumer recycling and post industrial recycling. So the product can be recycled itself, or the byproducts or waste from industry should also need to be considered for recycling, so that our use of material is minimum, use of energy is minimum, and pollution is also minimized. Okay, so while we are designing for environment, what should be done foremost? The most important is to reduce. If we can reduce the materials used in our product, our first goal is to be reduced, to make products with minimum amount of materials which are harmful for environment. And so we know that plastic is harmful for environment, so what we'll try to do is reduce as much amount of plastic use as we can. If plastic is not necessary, then we should not we should not use it. So the first thing is reduce. Then there comes reuse. If it is necessary to use, we should try to also reuse it. For example, we should try to avoid plastic bottles as much as possible. But if we cannot avoid it, if we have to use plastic bottles, we should make sure that we can reuse that plastic bottles. We should not throw away them directly, because throwing away them directly will impact badly on environment. So we are trying to reuse it, or we can use some alternate materials which can be reused. For example, if you are buying cold drinks and plastic bottle is not necessary, you should always opt for a glass bottle first. Why? Because glass bottles can directly be reused, while plastic bottle needs to be recycled. So recycle, if we recycle any plastic, then there will be some energy cost, there will be carbon footprint, there will be CO2 production during the recycling process, and it will affect environment badly. So our first goal is to reuse, use the same product again after some cleaning or after some repairing. If this is not possible, if reuse is every time not possible, then we opt for either remanufacture or refurbish. We see that there are many online platforms which are selling refurbished phone and refurbished laptop. So what they do is they take broken or some damaged laptops, and they just simply change the parts which are damaged. All the other parts will be kept same and they are repaired. So they are using uh, components of previously used parts which are in good shape, and they are manufacturing the product again as brand new product, and the quality of those products will be similar to a brand new product. This is called remanufacture. So if reuse is not possible, we try to remanufacture it, because more than half of the components uh, are we are reusing more than half of the components. So it will also reduce the damage on environment. If remanufacture is also not possible, then also we try to recycle it. We are recycling plastic bottles, we are recycling some other components. So the next step is recycling. And if recycling is not possible, we try to energy recovery. What is energy recovery? If we are trying to recycle a product but it is not possible, then what should we do? We should try to recover some energy out of it. How can we do that? Suppose there is a product of wood. So if there is a wooden chair, we can reuse it again and again. Then suppose that chair is broken, so we try to refurbish it. We simply replace the broken part, and we try to use that chair with a replaced or repaired part. If that is not possible, then we try to recycle the chair. But we know that recycling the chair is not possible. Recycling the wooden component is not possible. So what we will do? We will burn that wood and we will try to recover some energy out of it. So that is what energy recovery is. Now, how to achieve all this? By reduce, okay, useless. That is not in the design part. Design consists with these components. We use materials so that our product can be used again and again. As I have given example of glass bottle versus plastic bottle. So try to design bottles or glasses with a material as glass. If we are using glass cups, then we can reuse again and again. Try to avoid disposable products as much as possible. If that is not possible, we try to remanufacture it. And how can we remanufacture things very quickly? So while designing, we try to make a modular design. What modular design will do is it will help us identify the exact pinpoint where we can simply remove a damaged component, and we can place a new component so that it can be remanufactured very easily, and we do not need to open up entire product. So we can change our design to make the product more remanufacturable. Understood? And then recycle. There is nothing we can do much in the recycle process other than selecting correct material which can be recycled. Also, while we are designing products, we should make sure that the materials are symmetric as much as possible. If I am designing a product which has all the plastic parts, then I can recycle that product very quickly and easily. But if the product has some plastic parts and the product consists of five different materials, then I will have to separate all those five different materials, then I will be able to recycle it. So try to design products in a way that we can separate the different materials easily and quickly. Okay, this is the things that need to be considered while designing for environment. Now here are some example of companies doing design for environments and how they have achieved it. So this trip tap chair, which is an award winning chair, it is designed in a way that people of all the age group can use it, or if a person buys it, then he can use it during his entire lifetime. If it can be used by a small toddler as well, it can be used by a child, it can be used by a teenager, and it can also be used by an adult by changing only some aspect. So this is an example of design for environment where it can be reused. It can be reused by different age group of people. And what is design for engineering process? So first of all, we need to set the agenda. Okay, I want to achieve this thing. Then we are identifying potential environment impact. Then we select material and we follow the design for environment guideline. Then we apply this guideline to initial design. Then again assess the environmental impact. Then compare to our goal. If our goals are achieved, then okay, our process is complete and we can analyze the result. If our goals are not achieved, then we can refine the design, and again we need to assess our impact on environment. This is a simple flow diagram which simply gives you an idea of a streamlined process that need to be followed, and the result will be similar to what we have already discussed. What will be life cycle impacts? So different types of product have different life cycle impact on environment. If a product is material incentive product, that means that the cost of material on environment is more. That means we are affecting environment with material more. Then the materials and recovery will have high impact on environment, where production, distribution and use will have low impact of environment. This histogram shows the amount of impact on environment during different stages. So material incentive product like laptop will have high impact of materials because plastic is non biodegradable, and it will have high impact during its recovery and during the material acquisition. While during production, distribution and use, the laptop is not effective badly on environment because during its use, laptop is only consuming very less amount of energy and it will not cost so much to the environment. While use intensive product affect badly on environment during its use. For example, a car. Car's material is metals and it can be reused. Metals can be reused and can be easily recycled. So the material production and distribution will not affect environment very on a very large scale, but use, because we are using fuels in cars. So during the use, cars or bikes or other automobiles will impact environment largely. So and recovery, during recovery it will not impact environment badly very much. So the maximum impact will be during use, and these are called use intensive product, and material intensive product will impact during its material recovery and recovery stage. Then there are some examples of products which are considered while manufacturing for design, which are which have considered design for environment while manufacturing. Thus, the first example is this Dunwall recycled boots. These boots are recyclable and they have made from recycled material. So this is an example of design for environment. Then this Samsung Reclaim mobile phone, which they have produced from waste materials. This mobile phone is produced from waste materials, so it is an example of remanufacture and recycle. And also its charger is an energy star charger, so it consumes a low amount of energy. So this is an environment friendly phone, and this is an example of design for environment. Then Nike also considered design for environment while they analyze that they have used this amount of materials which are hazard, energy intensity and CO2 percentage they have calculated, and they have said that okay, we are recycling 20% of the products. So this is an example of how companies are considering design for environment, and it is necessary also. The Ford Smart Gauge is also considering design for environment with an eco guide, which says that okay, how much amount of impact you are making on environment, and what is energy value, environment value that you are generating. And this is an example of design for environment from Puma. What they have done is they have designed a clever little bag which can be used as a bag also, and which can be used as a box also, and it uses minimum material. Normally we see that a box will use two layer of boxes and it will be put in a plastic bag, but Puma has designed this bag such that it uses minimum amount of material for packaging of food, and also they are using this cloth bag so that uh, environment effect on environment will be reduced. So these are the example of design for environment by different companies. Also, as a responsible citizens, we should also be considered that due to our negligence, environment should not be affected badly. So what can we do? We can avoid using plastic bags as much as possible. If use of bags is necessary, we should try to use cloth bags. Cloth bags are better than plastic. Why? Because it is reusable. We can reuse cloth bags. Also, cloth bags are biodegradable. So after its life cycle, it will not have bad impact on environment. While if we are using plastic bags, so mostly plastic bags are one time use. They are use and throw, and it will have bad effect on environment. If plastic bags is necessary, then we should use high quality plastic bags which can be reused. So the bags which big showroom give us, they can be reused. So we should use those kind of plastic bags, and we can reuse that again and again. And after its life, those bags can also be recycled. So we should uh, always remember that the steps to be followed are: reduce if it is not necessary, do not buy products which are bad for environment, or do not use products which are harmful to environment. Then reuse, use the same product again and again if it is possible. Then remanufacture, if remanufacture is not possible, then only opt for recycle, and after recycle, use recovery of energy. So okay, I hope today's session will be informative for you. That will be all, and it will be end of session.